How you doing? I think I'll just continue this series as long as the momentum is there, and if something keeps pushing it along, then whatever. I'm not gonna apologize for making more videos. If I feel like making more videos, I'm gonna do it. And right after I made the last one earlier today, I guess you can call it an epiphany. And I'm not saying that this information is correct or this is how it is. I'm just saying, like, this is how I feel what this character is. Okay, this character. I want you to keep something in mind. He doesn't have a wand in this scene. He has like a party balloon that he's blowing, right? Celebration. But he does have a red cape and a top hat. He does, however, right towards the end, he does actually have a wand. So for all these years, there's all this speculation. Who is this skullduggery character, right? Like, what is he? Is he Abraham Lincoln? Like, people thought of all these people who wear top hats, right? Like, there aren't that many groups of people who wear top hats. Where is the scene? I'm trying to I think it's over here somewhere. Just a second, sorry. Where he has the, yeah, or he's conducting, right? But these, you could still interpret these as magic wands, in my opinion. But it's not Abraham Lincoln, guys. Who else wears a top hat? The master of the lodge, the master of a Masonic lodge, wears a top hat. If you guys don't know, the Masonic lodge is broken down into groups of what they call officers, who are sort of responsible for different tasks within the lodge. And the master of the lodge, who's called the worshipful master, he wears a top hat. Okay, but I don't think that that's who he is either. Okay, I don't think that. Um, Although one could argue that, to some degree, masonry is ritual magic, I don't think that that's what this particular character represents necessarily. Okay, so who is he? Okay, the common speculation has been, or for many years, the common consensus um, is that it's Baron Samedi. Baron Samedi. Okay, this is a voodoo character. Okay, it's a very complex, strange character who wears a top hat and has the face of a skull. But other than that, there are no similarities to this character. Okay. Um, Baron Samedi is often a chaotic spirit and greatly enjoys smoking, drinking, interacting with people, but he is also morbid by very nature, and often when possessing others, he will lay down on the ground and expect ritualists to perform ceremonies similar to those they would in funerals. Despite all this, he is generally happy among hosts and can even be difficult to convince to leave, as he will often wish to stay for one more drink. Okay, so this is a voodoo character, okay, in the religion of voodooism in Haiti. And one could argue, this is essentially a French Canadian cartoon. We have a French associated or French language character. I can see why people would make the connection, okay? And he's involved in the spirit world. I mean, I'm not saying it's possible that he could be representing that. He also has a staff. But I think it's a little bit more generic than that, ladies and gentlemen, than very specifically. Um, I think what he represents, this character, is a broader representation of what? By the way, before I go on, I almost missed this. Can't believe I never noticed this before. This goes by so fast. Look at that. Those are the colors of the Ukrainian flag. Someone pointed that out to me today. And whoever that was, thank you, because I never in a billion years thought that until you mentioned it, and those are literally the exact colors of the Ukrainian flag, and it's affiliated with, there is a cross or like an X over it. She's implying no nuclear, right? White flag, surrender, no nuclear. There's all this talk of the nuclear plant melting down, and the colors are exactly like that of the Ukrainian flag. Exactly. So thank you for pointing that out, subscriber. So who's this? That's a dead magician. Who pulls the rabbit out of the hat? A magician. What's the oldest trick in the book? Pulling the rabbit out of the hat. Okay, so he's dead, and he's a magician. He's a dead magician. The dead combination of magician and death tarot cards. Magician and death tarot cards. That's what he is. Even, look, just generically put into Google, magician's costume. You get a red cape, a wand, and a top hat. That's what you get as the most common thing you'll see. Okay? And in terms of modern magic, or what is like the most generic thing associated with a magic trick? Pulling the rabbit out of the hat. So what is implied in this scene then? He's obviously not pulling the rabbit out, but I think he is. They're just not showing it to us. He's pulling it out of the hat because he's pulling his magic tricks, because she doesn't want Gabby Petito, or whoever the hell this is, doesn't want the nukes. But he's gonna pull his magic tricks and pull the rabbit out of his hat. Okay? And for years and years, I've been trying to figure out what all this shit on his face is, and all it does is just piss me off to try to decode, like, all that crap on his face is obviously not by accident. Intricately drawn, symbols here, some kind of strange swirls. This looks like it's an eclipse, like... Honest to God, I don't know what any of this means. I think like this kind of looks like a pi symbol right here. There's a letter L right over there. Why this tooth has half of it painted and not the entire tooth, I have no idea. It's irritating. But I think that this is a dead magician tarot card. And the combination of a death and magician, what does that say? Both the magician and death cards are major arcana cards, because major arcana cards tend to indicate important or overreaching issues. This coupling is often a significant one. When two major arcana cards appear together, it's a sign that there's a connection between two major forces or major life issues being referenced. The simplest way to think about the magician is it deals with power, skill, concentration, and resourcefulness. Skill, originality, and masterful execution. An original solution to a problem. To accomplish something which is impossible for many others, to manifest willpower into reality. Endings, change, transformation, and life cycle. That is the meaning of the death card. Okay? The end of a cycle, the beginning of another. A larger trend is drawing to a close. The old is stripped away to prepare for the new, possibly a loss of money, personal property. When the magician and death cards are read together in a tarot reading, their meanings can be quite nuanced and varied depending on the context and surrounding cards. One possible interpretation of the magician and the death combination is that it represents moments of profound transformation and empowerment in which the current is able to let go of the old limitations and tap into their true potential. The magician card suggests that the current has the skills and resources to create and manifest their desires, while the death card points to the need to release and surrender, allowing old patterns or beliefs to die so that new possibilities can emerge. Another interpretation of the Magician and Death card combination is that it may signal a warning or challenge, particularly if the other card is reading are negative or difficult. In this case, the Magician may point to an over-reliance on ego or manipulation, while the Death may signify a crisis or loss that requires a current to let go of their illusions and face reality. Regardless of the specific situation or interpretation, the Magician and Death combination offers a powerful message of transformation and empowerment, reminding us that we have the power to shape our lives and grow from even the most challenging circumstances. By embracing our inner wisdom and releasing what no longer serves us, we can harness the forces of the universe or create a new reality that aligns with our deeper values and aspirations. So that's really interesting, right? So manifestation, as we do have the power of manifestation. Okay, so this makes me wonder if he sort of represents the collective of our manifestation. And, it could, either go into a very negative direction or a very positive direction. Obviously, with this particular cartoon, it's implying something very negative or very destructive, so to speak. Why? I mean, it's really easily seen because the face that Sun Tzu makes here is the face of defeat. Like, she's given over her power to the magician, while in actuality, she's the one who should be empowered. She's the one who should take over and be the manifester instead of having them manifest for us. Okay? But in general, as a whole, the human race has given over their power. Okay? In general, I would say that's true. Last but not least, so my friend Dan, like always, a brilliant man, pointed out, the Twin Towers are shown kind of early towards the beginning of the film. Okay? So, again, the significance of 9-1-1 and even the way that the towers fall are almost identical to how the towers actually fell. Like, the way they reproduce this is just insanely detailed. If you look at how these towers are falling, look at that. Look at it. Look at the detail right there. It's insane. Like, that alone must have taken days and days and days. Like, I even did a little bit of computer graphics in high school, and to build like a freaking couch took me like hours. Like a simple couch. Okay? My point is that it's taking you on a journey from the first 9-1-1-1, let's just say it that way, the first one in the beginning of the story, which is the first ritual. And this journey through the underworld takes you on through this path that will ultimately result in the second 9-1-1. The second 9-1-1, it has nothing to do with the towers anymore, and everything to do with this right here. The second one has to do with the sun. The sun doing that. Okay? So that's why it's in the beginning. That's why the towers are in the beginning. They could have put it in the middle of the cartoon. They could have put it, right? You know what else is an interesting thought, guys? This could be a timeline of the beginning of the 21st century as well. So you have this beginning, right? Because it does transition from Bush to Obama, right? So those years of his presidency to Obama's, right? And then it goes into, and then there's the representation of the first event, right? And then there's a timeline where other events occur, right? Like, this was speculated to be, when there was the oil crisis or when Texas froze over. I'm not sure. This could be, the war. And then there was him with all the vaccines around him right here. Look, see, he's got all the vaccines around him. So it could be actually a linear timeline, guys. That's actually possible. Because look, first the vax, right? First the vax is right there. And the pills. And the COVID brain. But then again, this could have been the... where was it? Somewhere in the South Pacific, there was this massive volcanic explosion, I think last year, where these rings were created. I made a video about it a long time ago. I think it was Vanuatu or something, but these massive like rings after this volcanic explosion. Okay, and then after that, you have the war, right? And then it progresses from there, and then blah blah blah. And then this event happens that hasn't happened yet. That's, I believe this event is associated with the USA, or a war associated with the USA, and then the final event being the sun. Okay, so how long that stretches for how many decades or years, I don't know, but it could be that. That's it.